Hi there again, this is Sanjay. I'm glad you could join me in this second part of my trip to the Dragon Kingdom, Bhutan. I hope you have liked, shared and subscribed to my channel for further travel videos. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you. In the first part, we covered our arrival and stay at Paro and the visit to the Tiger's Nest Monastery. After 2 nights in Paro, we headed out to PUNAKHA and Wangdi. It's a good 3-hour journey. The roads are good, not much traffic anyway, winding up and down the peaks, stunning views throughout the journey. On the way, you cross the Duchula Pass at an elevation of 3100 meters, but the car goes all the way to the top and down, unlike the Tiger's Nest Monastery, so no strain on the legs. At the top, there are 108 stupas, a monastery and a cafeteria, so a lovely pit stop on the journey from Paro to PUNAKHA. With majestic views of the Himalayas, but on a clear day though, otherwise the clouds cover the peaks. Along the way, and in fact all over Bhutan, you see prayer flags in many places. They look colourful and romantic, but as they become faded and dirty, they start to look untidy across the landscape. More wonderful landscapes as we arrive into PUNAKHA Valley. PUNAKHA is the winter capital of Bhutan. We stayed at the Dhensa boutique resort PUNAKHA, a quiet, small hotel nestled on the hillside surrounded by pine trees with views of the PUNAKHA river directly from our room. Hospitality is part of the Bhutanese DNA. The hotel staff were wonderful and even put on entertainment for the few guests staying at the hotel. The wonderful PUNAKHA Zong, located between the Phu Chu male and the Mu Chu female rivers in the PUNAKHA Valley. The Zong is some 400 years old and beautifully preserved. As you cross the bridge and enter into the structure, a huge courtyard opens up. Zong construction is of a distinctive style of fortress architecture found mainly in Bhutan and Tibet. This photo, taken from a corner, is actually a combination of 2 pictures stitched together to enable both passages to be seen. PUNAKHA Zong is the second oldest and the second largest Zong in Bhutan. Up to 1955, this was the administrative center and seat of government. It is one of the most beautiful Zongs in Bhutan, a feast for the eyes. All the kings of Bhutan have been crowned here, and it is the winter residence of the official monk body. The architecture is massive in style. Exterior walls surrounding a complex of courtyards, temples, administrative offices, and accommodation for the monks. Plain, towering whitewashed walls contrast with these beautiful, intricate and colourful windows. While there, we met this amazing little boy who is said to be highly developed spiritually, even at his tender age. Somewhat camera shy, but his demeanour was not like other children of his age. A little distance from the Zong, there is one of Bhutan's longest suspension bridges. The bridge, which is always adorned with colourful prayer flags, links PUNAKHA Zong to villages across the Zangchu River, also known as the Phu Chu River. On the 520 feet long bridge, there are wonderful views of the river and the valley. The east bank is a good starting point for multi-day treks into the nearby mountains. PUNAKHA also offers whitewater rafting, It is an absolute introduction to this. There is probably more turbulence in a swimming pool. Now seriously, this is only an introduction, but does offer a feel for the adventure without white knuckles and a heart attack. Added to that, we had 2 amazing guides on the raft who gave us the experience but took away the fear. In PUNAKHA, one of our group tripped and sustained a hairline fracture in her foot. The excellent hotel staff were all over us, ready to help in any way possible. It must have been painful. We should not laugh, but we did. Our excellent driver Sangay and guide Phub came back at midnight with medication and strapping for our injured friend. They were amazing and took wonderful care of us. Their contact details are in the description, so when you go, you also can be superbly looked after. The next day, after we'd stopped laughing, we took our friend to the hospital, where she was attended to by a doctor. All medical treatment in Bhutan is free, even for foreigners. She was strapped up and declared that she will live. Hooray! This is the view from Wangdi Hospital. We crossed the river and headed towards Gangtey, a 2.5-hour journey, some 75 kilometers. An epic, cloud-covered route giving a visual treat, a pleasure for eyes sore from urban congestion. There's a lovely small cafe en route for a break and refreshments. The Gangtey Valley is an incredibly beautiful glacial valley, serene and delightful. It is located much further into the interior of Bhutan than most tours include. The endangered black-necked cranes come here in the winter and are a rare sight. We stayed at the Gangtey farmhouse lodge. Yes, this was an indulgence. Expensive, but for one night it was a treat. More so as we managed to avoid the peak season prices. You are welcomed by the staff in a traditional fireside greeting. It is a 12-room Bhutanese farmhouse, blended into the hillside. The rooms are huge, with unusually a standalone bath in the bedroom overlooking the valley. Decadence. Quiet and isolated, and with no light pollution, I was able to capture the starry heavens at night. And when you wake up, the splendor of the valley unfolds in front of you. And of course, you are in Bhutan, so there is a monastery nearby, the Gangtey Gongpa, situated at an altitude of 2,800 meters and dating back to the 1600s. Monks are to be found everywhere, and obviously in and around a monastery. The life of comparative seclusion is coming face to face with the modern world as the country opens up. The whole of Bhutan is this naturally beautiful country heaped in tradition, apparently in some time bubble, which is slowly leaking. Traditional beliefs and customs still prevail. Tying prayer flags is deeply embedded in the Bhutanese culture. The religion of Bhutan is Buddhism. It was an import from neighboring Tibet in the 7th century. Bhutanese are vegetarians and there are no slaughterhouses in Bhutan. Any meat that is consumed is an import from India and roadkill. So, this concludes the second part of our trip to Bhutan. Thanks for following. In part 3, we conclude our trip. If you like this, please do share and subscribe for more snapshots through my lens in the future. Thank you and see ya.